set to vote on a budget today without any aid for Israel or Ukraine. How concerned are you about that, and when does this become critical?
So we are at a critical point with respect to aid to Ukraine. The Pentagon has said publicly that they have exhausted somewhere around 95% of their funds to provide security assistance to Ukraine, security assistance that's very important. We think it's urgent that the House pass the supplemental requests that we made, not just to fund security assistance to Ukraine, not just to fund security assistance to Israel, but also to fund the humanitarian assistance that we have requested for the people of Gaza, which we think is critically important both for their safety and well-being and for Israel's long-term security interests.
Assistant Secretary Barbara Leaf is headed back to the region. Any particular message she is carrying on behalf of the Secretary?
I think you'll see her continue the work that the Secretary launched in his 2 trips to the region, trying to achieve many of the same objectives. One, to ensure that Israel is able to defend itself against terrorism while respecting humanitarian law, that we are trying to secure the release of hostages, that we are trying to secure the delivery of humanitarian assistance into Rafah, and facilitate the departure of American citizens from Rafah. There are now over 600 American citizens and lawful permanent residents and their family members who have departed Gaza through Rafah Gate. There are a little under 1,000 that we know of that are left now, whose departure we hope to facilitate over the coming days should they wish to depart. And of course, you will continue to work to try and prevent the conflict from spreading, which has been one of our top objectives from the outset.
Thank you. And back to Iran, I want to bring up a quote from the Secretary this morning. He said in a statement that Iran's support, primarily through IRGC, enables Hamas and PIJ's terrorist activities, including through the transfer of funds and operational training. I assume you still stand by this statement. And if that's the case...
Absolutely. And I think you're referring to a statement he made imposing sanctions on Hamas to prevent it from accessing the financial system, which is the exact kind of sanctions we have imposed on Iran over 400 times in this administration to prevent them from conducting these destabilizing activities.
But the argument is that aren't we deluding ourselves when expecting that a terrorist regime, I should say, of that nature, when it gets its hands on $10 additional billion, will act differently?
So I think you were misstating several facts. They get their hands on $0 additional as a result of these waivers. Again, none of these funds are sent to Iran. They are held in third-party accounts outside Iran and can be used only for humanitarian and other non-sanctionable purposes for the benefits of the Iranian people.
But there's no concern whatsoever on your end that Iran might get emboldened by this action.
You think Iran is going to get more emboldened than it is already because of this action? These are sanctions that have been these are waivers that have been issued going back to 2018. We have seen Iran continue its destabilizing activities throughout that time, just as they did before the Trump administration issued the first of these waivers in 2018, which is why we have held them accountable through strikes against their proxy militias in the region and through the sanctions I just referred to, as well as a number of other measures.